Which is faster, copying everything at once or one thing at a time? I am transferring a bunch 20 plus of large 1 GB plus files to my external flash drive over USB 2.0. Is it quicker to just sling them all over at once, as in one at a time, but not waiting for the previous transfer to finish, so that there are multiple transfers going on, or transfer one, wait for it to finish, transfer the next? The files are coming from a variety of locations, so I can't do one single big transfer. Are there any other advantages to one way or the other that are worth considering?
If they are all coming from different physical disks, but being written to a solid-state drive, flash, SSD, then you can copy them simultaneously. The physical head movement, latency, is what will slow a transfer from a spinning Plutter disk. If you were copying from a single HDD, then you would start a single big transfer rather than lots of small ones. The head going back and forth between two or more files that are being copied is what slows the transfer. Of course, you would get the same effect if the HDD were heavily fragmented, even if you were copying a single file. If it was between solid-state drives, then it would not matter. If you don't want to wait around for each transfer to finish, then use a copy queuing app like TerraCopy. Of course, the flash drive write speed would be the bottleneck here, so it probably doesn't matter which way you do it. Smiley face.
You are best off writing a single file at a time. You'll likely find that your flash drive's bandwidth will get saturated pretty easily. The source drive is unlikely to be the bottleneck. While USB 2.0 can transfer up to 480 MBs, your flash drive is probably limited to 20 MBs. This means that when you transfer a couple of files from a hard drives, it will max out the flash drive's write speed, and each file will be written slower since they have to share. Also, by writing multiple files at the same time, you increase fragmentation, because unless the space for the files is fully allocated as soon as the transfer starts, they will end up being broken into chunks as the files are transferred. Fortunately, because flash drives are solid state, there is no head that has to thrash back and forth like it would if you transfer multiple files to a hard disk. Another drawback of writing multiple files at the same time is that the file copy dialogs only indicate the progress and remaining time for that individual file, and it becomes next to impossible to estimate the total time because it is not linear. You cannot simply add them. Transferring them together will give you much more accurate feedback for the whole transfer. If the source files are from different sources, do you mean different hard drives? CD, DVD? Network drive? Or just folders? Then what you can do is to use a dedicated file copying tool instead of Windows' built-in function. Some options include the Microsoft TechNet tool RoboCopy, which also has a GUI front-end, WitchCopy, also from TechNet, which is an enhanced tool based on RoboCopy, and TerraCopy, which specializes in making the transfer as efficient as possible, and has a free version.
If destination disk is an SSD, just keep in mind that SSDs are, for what's in concern here, damn fast. Asterisk. If destination is anything slower, from a flash with not so high write rate to a SATA 3 HDD to a magnetic tape, you should queue the transfers, one at a time. Your bottleneck will be on destination disk for sure. In HDDs disadvised nowadays because, even though there is more than one head in a cylinder, they are not allowed to read nor write concurrently. It has shown no performance impact in real-world scenario due to the fact that we can encounter random data in one of the heads that will not allow us to R/W in that head for most of the time being, and if the heads are not completely centered, that could lead to disk corruption. Common sense, then mathematics too, say that if we have a very source but we can make the transfer of files in parallel, the head seek could, in not many scenarios though, be faster than serialization of the job. Asterisk, that is, as Newton states, because there is no head movement. But should we not use the term latency? Latency is head movement plus disk rotation delay plus read time, and in SSD that is simply random read time and does not depend on the previous read position as disk drives do.
If you were copying across IP protocol, FTP/SCP/Samba/etc., then there is less overhead to copy one file since there are multiple handshakes between each file. In this case, since there are large files and few in quantity, it won't make much difference to the I/O bus what you do, and it's probably easier to copy them as they are.
A1 Smoke Channel, Breaker Server Image Starting.